running into these meetings. So I just want everyone to know that because I look like an unmade bed every Monday morning.
Good morning, Michelle. And my favorite part, I say, we're going to start the recording. Let's all be quiet. And then you just talk anyway. So now the tape will just come in with you going. This will be the opening of the tape. I look like an unmade bed. Oh, so we have a very interesting topic. If you don't mind, I wanted to lead into it with something I just observed last night. Last night was, for those who are watching, the playoffs are going on in football. And since we're inside the huddle, you won't mind a football reference. The game last night was Pittsburgh at Kansas City. And it's rare to see what we're talking about so perfectly exemplified. When Steve and I talk, a lot of the time we talk about the year, and we break the year up into quarters, just like a football game. And every quarter has a purpose. And you're trying to generate a win, just like they do in a game. The first quarter is always about fundamentals. It's establishing yourself. I'm going to be the dominant player in this game. That's what you're doing in the first quarter. In real estate, we're making sure our CRM is completely up and running. Everything's in place. We're not doing anything fancy. I want to know that my basic business is happening, and I'm not going to drop the ball. That's what we're doing in the first quarter, right, Steve?
Correct. Yeah.
If you watched the game last night, many would say the first quarter was boring. The ball changed hands like 10 times. There was no score in the first quarter. It was a strong defense, and it was two teams trying to establish dominance for the game. And if you watched it, toward the end of the first quarter, you started to see KC establish some dominance. They started making their offense run against a good defense, and Pittsburgh didn't do the same thing. And I turned to my wife at the end of the first quarter and said, KC's going to run away with this. Because this is fundamentals of our life. They established dominance in the first quarter. It took them almost the entire quarter to do it, but they did it. Yeah. And after that, they did run away with it. I mean, they blew them out of the gates.
Yeah, they had a game plan, and they weren't willing to compromise to it. So it's just like everything we talk about as we start the year. You want to have something where you're measuring your performance, some baseline, some foundation, to where you can hold yourself and your team accountable to act and produce. So, I think in a football game, a lot of these coaches come in with a game plan. They script their first few plays. The team that knows they have the talent will often stick with the script. It's the team that's not so sure of themselves that will start to deviate and get too creative, and then they just get run over.
Even when they do have the talent, if they don't believe, just like if you're an agent and you're unsure, then you keep chasing the new shiny object instead of sticking with the game plan.
The fundamental, yeah.
You're absolutely right.
We, one of the things I thought we could, leading into the subject is why should an agent think like a CEO or an entrepreneur, right? Like in that sense, like they're running their own business.
Like the head coach.
I've always believed success leaves clues. Like that's a life thing. It's a life hack that I figured out a long time. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel, dummy. People have lived before you. And so if you try to move to a state of awareness where you're looking for these clues, life becomes infinitely easier for you. But what I thought we would talk about today is because I think all my life as a sales manager, I think I've realized that my most important role is to teach people how to think before they act, right?
Right.
Again, talking about football last night, you could see when someone makes a boneheaded mental error, the coaches are coaching them on how to think about a situation. They're not coaching the action. They're coaching, what were you thinking? You know what I mean? Like this is part of what coaching is about. And I think, in fact, it's really the definition of leadership is to teach people how to think in situations so that they get what they want, when they need it, right? So can we talk a little bit about why the people on the call today should look at their business more in that prism or that light? Because whether you're on a team or you're an individual, if you're on a team, or you're the team principal, this applies across the board, doesn't it? I mean, the way you think about or how you approach your business and your role within a team.
I would go one step higher, yes, but it's not just business. This is how you think about your life. If you think of yourself as the person, what'd you say, the CEO, you're running the business of you. Real estate will come along for the ride. You'll have a phenomenal career in real estate if you're having a phenomenal business, the business of being you.
Right.
You being the CEO. I agree completely.
Yeah. And I think that, for me, it's what I've tried to do is, and I think if you're on a team and you're a team member, you have a responsibility to engage in a way that, allows you to even manage up so that the team is focused and united on the goals. So they understand the business plan. Like if you're waking up today and you're on a team and it is, what's today's date? The 17th, right?
17th already.
And you haven't had a meeting with your principal, or you as the principal haven't conducted a meeting to understand exactly what your team members' goals are, or communicated what the goals and objectives are for the team. By the 17th of December, you're already, you're falling back and you're going to start playing catch up, because it's not enough just to hire talent to hope that they're just going to do what you think they're supposed to do. You have a responsibility to either get that as a team member to manage up, say, what are the goals? Does your team principal understand your goals? What's important to you? Do you understand what's important to them? Right, to align so that you can be a formidable foe going forward. How do you? I don't think that happens a lot. Do you, Sean? I mean, you coach a lot of agents, and how important is that from your point of view?
I think it's everything. I think it permeates everything we do. Whether it's you, someone on your team, or your client, if you're exploring the why, if you're understanding the vision, then you can go where you want to go, and you can help them get where they want to go. Their vision should fit within your vision, right?
Yeah.
But you have to understand it, and they have to know yours.
I think we look at leadership, you and I, or we look at Robert Refkin or anyone who's on a team or leading a team. The old way of looking or viewing the team leader is someone who provides vision, mission, capital, even, right? They're all fun deal. I think I talked about Robert Refkin, and I think about, when I first came on board to Compass some 4 years ago, one of the first videos I saw, and I watched repeatedly, was him talking about how he came up with his mission statement for Compass, helping everyone find their place in the world. Phenomenal. By the way, again, I know I've mentioned this, so I hate to sound like a broken record, but if y'all haven't seen that video, we'll get you the link for it on YouTube, but it's just a must see. If I've watched that, Sean, once, I've watched it 20 times. I am not exaggerating. I
believe it.
It's really good because what it gave me, and then before I go on, then he gives us the CEPs about a year or so later.
What are CEPs for those who don't know?
The core principle, the entrepreneurial principles of Compass.
The entrepreneurial principles of Compass.
Yeah, so he established 8 core values, 8 beliefs that he believes every entrepreneur should have as a principle in their business. So without going too deep into that exactly, what I'm trying to get to is, what did he do by doing that? What is he role modeling for all of our leaders, for all of our agents? What does watching a video like that, understand your mission in such a way that you actually try to live it yourself, and then you're looking at these core principles that help you think about what's important, like what does a champion think about? How are they trying to behave? These things give us what, Sean? They give us
direction. They give us energy.
Energy. And I think that, again, I don't mean to take the air out of the room here, so forget. I'll zip up. But this is one of the things that I think that is lacking a lot of times for someone who is struggling. Either the agent on the call here today we've all been there, where we're waking up and wondering, there's got to be more to this. There's got to be more to this. And we're lacking the energy. Don't confuse your energy, your commitments, your dedication to a goal with work ethic, because I think sometimes that gets blurry. A lot of people show up every day. They're showing up, they're working, but they're not working with passion and purpose. And I think that if you, as a team leader, or if you're working inside of a team and you don't have similar objectives that you clearly understand, then I think it's a moment for you on the 17th of January to hit the pause button for ever so slightly and think about how are we going to create energy for the team so that we're all pulling in the same direction and we all have a purpose with passion.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love when you bring up Robert Refkin, and how he got here, the CEPs. These are the entrepreneurial principles for a business owner, for a CEO. He gets it. He gets that every one of us is a CEO.
Right.
Every one of us should be treating our business as a business. So that's the first thing that comes up in coaching. Oftentimes, the first thing you have to help an agent with is get past I'm an agent and get into I'm a business owner.
Right.
And Robert got that from the beginning. So he said, here's your entrepreneurial principles, you CEOs. Be CEOs, act like CEOs. Here's a guideline for you. And then you have to take that in and say, okay, I run my business. The first thing I better be is energized. And you nailed it. I don't want to put a negative spin on it, but work ethic's great. If I'm a CEO, I'd like to hire a lot of people with great work ethic. But great work ethic does not make you a CEO. It's two different mindsets altogether.
Yeah, what was it, the Gallup poll that recently, this is why it's so important to be engaged and with your team too. So it's not enough just to have people in your world. You want to be engaged with them so you understand this very thing we're talking about. Because at any given time, I think there was a Gallup poll, and it's been pretty consistent over the years, says that any organization at any given moment has roughly 20 to 25% of its workforce actively disinterested in what they're doing. I mean, they're
working
bored.
Against almost, right?
Working against them. Yeah. I mean, like they're just not even showing up. This is the old, they're just collecting a check. Mm-hmm. And for you, as like I said, this goes both ways. This isn't just about you being on a team, or if you're a principal agent by yourself, or you're the team principal yourself. Think about how this works across all three sectors, right? If I'm waking up and I don't have a business plan that has given me energy, and I haven't created a vision for my business or a mission, where do I get my purpose? What gives me the energy? When I watched that video of Robert's mission statement, how he came to it, it gave me energy. When he unloaded the CEPs, it gave me energy to engage with the people that I'm managing to see that they see what's available to them here at Compass and what it is we're trying to do. If they buy in to that same, because it's just not enough to have talent in your life. I mean, I think that one of the things we've done really well at Compass is we've hired a lot of really great people. But that ain't enough. Talent doesn't, looking to be hired. They're looking to be led.
There's a lot of very talented, broke people out there.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of talented, broke people because they're not being led, or they haven't figured out how to lead for themselves. So I think that, what I'm getting to, and what we're getting to together is, if you're not engaging at a high level right now, then and you're not used to it, start today. Start with yourself. Ask yourself as a team principal, I've got 5 people on my team. Do I know what their personal goals are this year? Do I know what's important to them? Do I know? Then, do they know what's important to me?
Right.
Do they know what's important to me? And
I want to expand it. You're talking very much to teams in the business, but if you're a principal agent on your own, this applies equally to your client. Do you have a vision? Do you have a direction that you can share with them? You don't need everyone to be your client.
No.
Let's get the people who share your vision, who like the energy that you create. And then you need to understand what they want. I mean, they have talents, right? Talent doesn't mean I'm good at juggling. That's a talent. Talent means they have a passion. They have something that they're engaged. That they're a perfect fit for something. Right. Okay, I'm going to meet with you, and I'm going to share my vision, and I'm going to help fit your vision inside of that. And now it's not I'm providing a service. Now I'm leading, right? Now I'm inspiring. That's the difference I think you're saying, Steve. You can manage. Manage is do this, don't do that, count this, don't count that.
Yeah.
Leading is, have I inspired you to something?
Well,
Are
funny,
you growing because of our relationship?
I looked up the definition of manage in the dictionary, which is to regulate, to supervise, to watch, to rule over, to order, to dictate, versus, if you look at yourself as a leader in your business with your clients and with your team, and by the way, you as a team member, right? Because you lead up. The definition of leadership is to influence, to coach, to counsel, to advise. I would rather be advised than to have someone dictate to me, right? I would rather have somebody to hold my hand through a problem or help lead me through a problem than to just watch over me. I mean, I'd rather have a mentor, right, than a dictator. So right. I think that in your business relationships, when you sit down and you're meeting with your client or you meet with your team, how are you showing up? It's really important. This little nuance is such an important thing, I think.
And it may be a little esoteric, but that also applies to you. How are you showing up for yourself? Are you inspired? Are you consulting with yourself? Are you understanding yourself? Are you leading yourself to a better life? Or are you just trying to manage things? You're trying to get through the day and make the count work out positive. Because those are two different kinds of lives. And I think one of the things this leads to, and I know you haven't brought it up yet, but there's results, right? There's outcomes. And some of them are measurable. One of the worst measurements is how much money do I have in the bank? That's one of the least important measurements. It's a measurement, though. What kind of life are you living? What gets you up early and keeps you up late? That's inspiring.
Well, results should come as you achieving your mission, values, and beliefs. So whatever your values or whatever your beliefs are, they're going to produce an outcome. And to me, that is the result. So it's like, it's not enough just to make money in real estate. It's what's that money going to do for you? It goes back to my watch story with my father, and you've got your story. We've all got a story about what's important, is what we're working for. So in order to get it's not enough just to have the result. You're not going to get the result if you don't know what you're working towards. You will have a result, but it will come purely by your level, your ceiling of achievement, like what you're just naturally good at. Like some people are just naturally good at this business, and because they have the gift for gab, they can build trust with strangers. They're just good like that. Before they just wake up that they're that way. We know these people, and then there are some that when they got their real estate license and they met with someone like you or me, they go, "Oh shit, I didn't know this was. I thought people just called me and." I just went up and showed
this is work.
In the prospect, I didn't know I had to. No, really, there are people I've met them. They're that naive. So, but they didn't really understand what it meant to be an entrepreneur, to lead a commission-based career. So, knowing, to me, what gives me energy is being clearly aligned, having a relationship with the things I'm trying to achieve, what it is I want from it, what makes me happy. I look at Robert Refkin. Okay, let's go back to him for a second, right? It's not enough for him to create a company that's profitable and making money, that's successful. What's one of the very first things he did? One of his very first goals was to raise a lot of money for Compass Cares, but to create Compass Cares as a business, as a philanthropic arm of Compass, was one of the first things he did. And he set this BHAG goal. I don't remember what it was, but I remember having friends laugh at me with competitors. Like, you really think you're going to be able to donate like $1 billion in 10 years? No one's done that ever. Like that guy in real estate, right? People are laughing like Robert's just, full of hot air. But if you know Robert, there's not anything that comes out of his mouth that's not intentional or
right.
Something he believes.
For those who haven't heard it, the first rule of goals. If you can share your goals with a group of friends and no one laughs at you, your goals aren't big enough. That's what inspires. Small goals I forget. There's a famous quote about that. Don't make small goals. They don't inspire the minds of men. Right? I don't remember the quote or who said it, but you are inspiring yourself. You are the CEO of you. It starts. So the line that I have with the people I coach, I want you to live a life of personal greatness. That's up to you how it's defined, right? Personal greatness could be a lot of things, but you have to have an image of it. What does my life of personal greatness look like? And once you have that, now you have the energy. Now you can go out and engage the talent. You can bring your own talent out. You can look at the outcome of things and say, it's not just the count, right? But it's the quality.
Well, energy is purpose with a plan.
Purpose with a plan.
Purpose with
if you can drive like hell, I'm driving really fast. Where are you going? I don't know. I don't have a map.
And when you have a relationship to what it is, when you have your mission, values, beliefs, and you know what it is you're going to do with the success you'll achieve, that's where all the energy lies. That's the secret sauce here. It's something that I know some of us do, but a lot of us don't spend enough time. I know sometimes I don't spend enough time there. Look, I will just put myself out there and say there are times, Sean, where I wake up and I'm like, oh, another day. You got the stress of managing, problems every day, right? That's what we say. No different than our agents. We get paid in real estate as a career to solve people's problems.
Right. That's not a stress. It's an opportunity.
It's an opportunity, right? For me, though, I have to admit, there are times where it's like, oh my God, I don't know if there's enough of me, even though there is. But I wonder if there's not enough of me here. But when I connect to what it is that I want, why do I do what I do? What is it that I'm trying to do? It will never end up with, I'm doing this because I want to make $400,000 this year. That will never be the answer.
Right.
And if you're not everything, it will never be. It'll be something with you and Lisa, right? I want to do this for her this year. This is a goal we have as a family this year. It's something I want to do for my family this year. It's something I want either, whatever it is, paying off that debt, buying that second house, moving, whatever. So it's just having the relationship with that. And if you want to succeed, share that with your coach. If you're a team member, make sure your team, I'm going to summarize here. Make sure that as a team member of a team, your principal knows what's important to you and that you know what's important to them. What a great way to approach either or. To say, hey, Sean, hey, let's grab a cup of coffee. What for? Hey, I just want to, as the year's starting out, nothing is more important to me as your team leader than to make sure that for 2022, I know exactly what it is that's important to you and what it is you're trying to achieve this year, financially, professionally, personally. Mm-hmm. That matters to me. The energy that will come from that relationship, the responsibility you'll feel both ways as the person receiving,
right? Accountability.
It's incredible. So
the difficult question, I'm sure some of the people listening in today and later who will listen to this, for some of us, we were blessed with awareness at some point of our purpose, of our energy, right? For some, that's a very difficult question. We sit down and we say, what's your big why? That's the key. That's the popular phrase. There's about half the people out there I talk to say, I don't know. Yeah. And that's a tricky one, right? That's a tough one.
Yeah. I don't know if I ever believed that, because it doesn't take me or you, I don't think, but 10 minutes to peel back that onion, and there it is.
Thank you. Okay, so you just ruined my surprise. Perfect answer. For those of you who are out there, and comment if you like, who are saying, I have a difficult time with this, let me give you a quick cheat. Go ask 5 of your friends what they think your purpose is. Because the people around you see it, you're doing it, you just don't know it. And you're getting in your own way trying to figure it out. You're making it too complicated. Go ask 5 friends. Hey, what do you think my purpose is? With the way I live my life, what am I doing with it? Why? And they'll tell you what you care about. And you'll say, oh, wow, I guess that's true, isn't it?
It's funny you say that, because this was years ago. This had to have been, I don't know, like 1998 or 99. I was in Vail, Colorado with a management team back there. And the president did something that has never happened before, really hasn't happened to me since, but was so powerful, I can't believe I haven't led it in my own world with folks like yourself or the people I work with. But what the president did is he made every manager get in front of the room of his colleagues, his peers. There were probably 10 of us, 12 of us, somewhere in there, 10, 12, imagine. And you had to go move to the front of the room, sit on a stool. And he asked the question of everyone. Now you're looking at your colleagues, And he asked the question that each one of those folks sitting in the audience, what one thing about Steve or what one thing about Sean do you value and appreciate, or do you think is one of his greatest gifts? And I mean, I got to tell you, after the first one, I mean, my folks know me. Like, I cry at everything, man. Oh my God, my plant over here doesn't have enough water. I mean, I'm just like that, right? I'm just a very emotional person. I couldn't get through it. It was really, really hard. That imprint, that etching on my slate has never left me, because whenever I've doubted myself, because the people on this call, and Sean, I know it's true for you too, we've all, at some point when we're trying to achieve our goals, we have those same fears. We have those same doubts. We all have them. It happens to all of us. We can put on a good face, but we're human. To have somebody tell you that what it is they appreciate about you, what they value, what they think your gifts are, to this day is something I lean into whenever I feel like I'm unsure of my path, or if I'm unsure. And believe me, I still have those moments. Because I'm human, and that's what we want to be here. We want to be real, or tell it like, tell it like it is. Leadership, by the way, I think one of the other greatest qualities that I love about Refkin and anyone that I've ever followed is, I think the greatest virtue of leadership is vulnerability. The ability to say, I don't know that I have this right, because your army gets behind you and protects you and pushes you forward. And I know I've got a bunch of them, and I got some of them on this call. They know what I'm good at. They know what I'm weak at. And when I step into that gray area there where I could be better, they circle the wagons and say, you got to give this guy, let me come here. Right. Yeah, the old man's nuts, but let me tell you what he's thinking. This is why it's so important to have these relationships. I'm sorry, Sean. Go ahead.
No, I agree. And I think it's transformative. One of the biggest changes that happens now, I'm kind of preaching to the choir in this group, but I talk to other agents who are newer. They're hesitant on a lot of things. Well, I don't know the contractor. I don't really know enough, and I need another class, and I need to. And I ask them, what do they think changes? When you watch a successful agent who goes out to every appointment feeling confident, do you think they actually know everything? Of course not. It's changing so rapidly you couldn't if it were possible. The big change that happens in our life is the realization that you don't have to know to be successful. It's okay to have those doubts and those fears. That's part of being a regular person. It doesn't impact your success. Mm-mm. And then you go out with confidence. No. That's the big change. That awareness. There's no line we get to cross. There's just all of a sudden awareness that I know enough because I'm enough. I'm enough. My passion for my clients is enough. My energy on this team is enough. What a change in your life that makes.
We were talking about the world earlier, and the challenges we face as we continue to evolve as human beings, as a society. Let me share a truth with you that I've learned in my 57 years on this planet, heading into my 58th. There are an infinite number of people that will accept you for just who you are if they can quickly discern that where you're coming from is a place of contribution and their well-being. I absolutely know without a doubt that my very first clients in real estate knew that I was their first. I know it. They never said anything to me, but it's not possible that they didn't know that this was my first deal. It's not possible. And yet they never did anything but support me and stick with me. And I just know that in their heart, they must have said, there's something good here with this guy. At least he cares about what we care about, and that's enough. And we can work through that. So
maybe we can. Yeah. I want to tie that back because we're out of time to when we started, like, I think as a CEO kind of thing.
Right.
It starts with you celebrating you realizing the vision, the inspiration that you're creating. You said, I have a lot of doubts, because I am human. What a sad thing it is that we define being human as our doubts and our fears and our negative self-talk.
Right.
When we're these phenomenal creatures. I mean, everyone on this call is this unique
So well
Let's
said.
start with, I know we're going to run over, but I'll do this very quick, Steve.
Sure.
When my son, we learned so much from our kids. Oh, if we could just go back to being 10 years old, life would be so much better because we're not all screwed up in the head. My son is maybe 10 years old, and he comes home and he had the math test he did, whatever that is at 10. I don't know, pluses and minuses or something. And he shows it to me, and he's got 100%. He got them all right. And I said, Quinn, this is fantastic. What, Dad? You got 100%. I'm really proud of you. And he looks at me with absolute integrity, absolute genuineness. And he puts his hands in the air and he goes, yay me. When was the last time you looked in the mirror and said, yay me, and meant it? That should happen every day.
Yeah.
Yay me. Go be your inspiration. Be your CEO.
Perfect. What a close.